Billy Graham's visit to Kohima in November of 1972, during a period of political instability and unrest in Nagaland, also marked the 100 years of Christianity in Nagaland. Very few foreigners were granted permission to visit the area by the Indian government. Despite the situation, almost miraculously, the Indian government in New Delhi granted a permit for Reverend Billy Graham and his team to enter Nagaland in late November 1972. This permission was in response to an appeal from a delegation headed by Reverend Longri Ao and other church leaders from Nagaland, assisted by a Khasi clergyman, Robert Kanville, head of the Northeast Indian Christian Council, who later joined Billy Graham's ministry as an evangelist. On their way to India at Bangkok, the news of the instability in Nagaland with the armed movement and the Indian government grew tense. Billy Graham reluctantly decided to cancel the trip for the safety of his team. When word of Billy Graham cancelling his trip to Nagaland reached the hosts, they were deeply concerned, immediately calling to prayer the thousands already gathered at Kohima. Most of the people had come by foot after several days' journey, carrying their own beddings and food. At Bangkok, according to Billy Graham, the next morning, 2 men came knocking at their hotel room. One was a Naga layman, Lule Bizo, and the other, a former American missionary to Nagaland, Neil C.C. Jones. They strongly urged Billy Graham to reverse his decision on cancelling his trip, pointing out that great harm would fall on the churches if the meeting was cancelled. They challenged Billy Graham to trust God for the safety of the meetings. Believing that God had sent them, Reverend Graham agreed to continue with the original plans and went on to Calcutta that afternoon to arrange the final details. From Calcutta, Cliff, Ted Smith, singer Archie Dennis, Charlie Riggs, T.W. Wilson and Billy Graham flew to Dimapur. They were driven the last 3 hours up a rough, twisting, dusty road to Kohima in a convoy with well-armed troops ahead and behind them. As they rounded a curve about 3 or 4 kilometers from Kohima, they came upon crowds of people, tens of thousands of them, lining the road to welcome them. They waved and hit the sides of the vehicles with their hands. After that, they were taken to a government house to spend the night. The Chief Minister of the Cabinet of Nagaland, Mr. Hokeshi Sema, arranged dinner for them. Upon their arrival at their quarters in the government house, they met a man named Nihule, who handled their baggage, made them tea, and did everything that needed to be done for them. At night, as Nihule took their muddy shoes to brush them, Billy Graham asked him, "Who would teach the Bible before I arrived?" Nihule remained silent and didn't reply. Then, in the words of Billy Graham himself, when I pressed him further, he admitted that it was he who would be teaching the Bible to the huge crowd. The man cleaning my shoes had just taught me a lesson on the servant attitude and spirit of ministering so often adopted by Christ himself. I have never forgotten it. When Reverend Graham went to bed that evening, he could already hear the crowd assembling and praying in the darkness. Next morning, at the soccer field, there were 90,000 people already inside, with thousands more outside. They were arranged by tribe, and each tribe had their own interpreter with a public address system pointed to their area. As Billy Graham spoke, he paused after each sentence. There followed a cacophony of sound as all 17 bullhorns blared at once, each in a different dialect. At the final service that afternoon, more than 100,000 people jammed into the stadium in the hot sun, with many thousands more outside. Believers from different churches willingly dug the Billy Graham Road. Believers willingly hosted the Nagas from other districts and places. The state government police, AIR radio, scouts and guides, and transport departments were all involved. The crusade is remembered as a powerful and spiritual uplifting experience, indelibly impressed and printed in the hearts and minds of Naga believers. The choir singing "What a Friend We Have in Jesus" still resonates with older attendees. With much enthusiasm, for almost the first time, Naga tribes from all different districts and regions came together, organized the crusade, and worshipped together as one. And it was more than a church event. Even before the event, Billy Graham's Kohima Crusade brought together different Naga church leaders and believers to come together in fellowship every week before the crusade. This historic Kohima Miracle Crusade of 1972 will continue to be celebrated as a testament to the enduring faith of the Naga people and the impact of Reverend Billy Graham's ministry for ages to come.